If I asked you right now whether you think you're rich, you'd probably say no. And honestly, that would be the normal answer because almost nobody in New Zealand thinks they're rich. Now, it could be that classic humble Kiwi trait coming through, or it might have to do with groceries still feeling expensive, or your mortgage still eating a third of your pay, or when every second person you know is driving a Ranger and parking in $1 million home. But here is the strange part. A lot of people watching this probably are much closer to rich than they realize, and some of you might already be there by New Zealand standards without ever using that term to describe yourself. So today I want to break down what rich actually looks like in the New Zealand context, using real numbers from Inland Revenue and Stats NZ. We won't be going through vague internet opinions, not those ridiculous "if you earn six figures, you've made it" takes, and not some fantasy version of wealth where everyone in the top 10% is casually boarding a helicopter in Queenstown. What I'll be talking about is the actual numbers, what it takes to land in the top 10%, top 5%, and top 1% for income and wealth in New Zealand. Because income and wealth are two completely different concepts, and that difference is where most people completely misread where they stand. So let's kick off by looking at income, because that's what most people think of when they hear the word rich. According to Inland Revenue, almost 2.9 million people received wages and salaries in the 2025 tax year. Interestingly, this actually fell 1.6% between 2024 and 2025. In total, these 2.9 million people earned a collective $194.4 billion last year. So if we even that out, it comes to roughly $68,000 for the average worker. It's important to note that this is across all earners, whether they're part-time, full-time, teachers, doctors, accountants, it's all included. When we look at the most common wage band, IRD states it's $63,000, and the median, according to Stats NZ, lands around $72,000 a year. So if you're earning something around $60,000 to $70,000 and feel like you're behind, you're probably a lot closer to the center of the country than you think. Now let's talk about the top 10%. Again, this is based on wage and salary data straight from the IRD. Of course, they can see everyone's taxable income, so aside from a few cashies in society, this is as accurate a picture as anything can get. Now it's important to clarify we're only looking at wages and salaries here. So it doesn't include super, welfare, student allowances, ACC payments, business, trust, or investment returns outside of working and the PAYE system. So working through the data to be in the top 10% of wage and salary earners in New Zealand, you'd need an annual income of $129,846 a year. That's a lot of money, obviously, but it's also lower than many people imagine. Unfortunately, for those in the top 10%, this level of income isn't quite enough to drink champagne on a yacht in the viaduct. Quite often, it just means you've built a strong skill set that translated into a well-compensated career. You might be in management, tech, finance, medicine, sales, law, construction, or a specialized trade. You may have been working for a decade or more, maybe picked up a few decent promotions, and now, on paper, you're in rare territory, even if day to day, you still feel like a normal person with a painfully normal power bill. Just to add to this, I think many people are interested where the $100,000 income lands. According to the IRD, if you're on $100,000 a year, you're in the top 20% of wage earners. Moving along, what does it take to be in the top 5%? Basically, if you took 20 random people off the street, what is the minimum you'd need to earn to be the top earner? The answer is $154,008 a year. This is where the numbers start to feel pretty good for an employee. And you can see this reflected in the wider IRD data because 6.5% of wage and salary earners made more than $150,000 in 2025. It can also be observed that 3.7% made more than $180,000. So if you're earning somewhere around that range, you're not just doing pretty well, you're already in a very small slice of the country. Then we have the top 1%. Using the same data from the IRD, you'd need roughly $278,750 a year to get there. And at that point, you are not just a solid earner, you're one of the highest paid salary and wage workers in the country. And what's interesting is that even people in that bracket often do not feel rich. Because rich in most people's heads means effortless. It means money that no longer needs thinking about. It means the mortgage is irrelevant, school fees are easy, the flights get booked without hesitation, and the car getting a weird dashboard light doesn't trigger a small internal crisis. But high income does not always create that feeling, especially in places where housing is expensive and lifestyle inflation quietly follows you around. When we think of rich, we often think of those people sitting around in the viaduct, drinking Prosecco at Soul Bar at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. But in reality, most of these high earners are sitting in an office working hard to justify why they're paid so much in the first place. And that brings us to the part most people miss. Income is only half the story. The other half, I'd argue, is the most important, and that's wealth. Because you can earn a lot and still not be wealthy. But the people sitting at the bar on a weekday are probably there due to wealth, even if they earn much less. Let's not forget that in New Zealand, income is taxed, whereas wealth isn't. According to Stats NZ, the median household wealth in New Zealand was $529,000 as of June 2024. That sounds high until you remember what net worth actually includes. It includes the family home, the KiwiSaver, savings, investments, maybe a business, maybe a car, and then subtracts the debt. Here in New Zealand, we love our houses, so a big chunk of that $529,000 is probably sitting in unused housing equity. This is why people always blame housing for New Zealand's productivity problem. We're pretty well off, but our money is sitting dormant, while in other countries, much of it is invested in building their businesses and growing their economies. So in effect, people look wealthy on paper, while still feeling cash poor in real life. And wealth in New Zealand is extremely concentrated in a small group. Stats NZ reports the top 10% of households hold about 48.5% of the country's total household wealth. To put that into perspective, let's say there are 10 people in a room with $10. In New Zealand, one person would be holding nearly half of that, while the other 9 people have to share the remaining $5. This is the reality. And the best way to make things more equal is to spend less than you earn and find ways to put that money to work. Wealth is the money that works for you, even while you're sleeping. If you invest in a company like Apple and they announce higher profits than last year, even without working for a minute, you've made an investment return and perhaps even a dividend or share in the profits. This is wealth. And we are all in a position to build it over our lifetimes. This could be through home ownership, KiwiSaver, building a business, investing in shares or Pokemon cards. This is what's required. So again, the top 10% of Kiwi households hold 48.5% of New Zealand's total household wealth. The top 5% hold 34.2%, and the top 1% alone hold 14.1%. So obviously, when they say New Zealand feels unequal, they're not imagining it. A huge amount of the country's wealth is sitting in a relatively small group of households. The New Zealand Herald has published some figures from Stats NZ that tells us exactly how much wealth we need to join these elite ranks. To be in the top 10%, a household would need at least $2.4 million. The top 5% jumps to a minimum of $3.7 million, and the top 1% climbs to a staggering $8.7 million. This is the part that usually shocks people, because the income numbers and the wealth numbers live in completely different universes. You can crack the top 10% of wage income on around $130,000 a year, but to crack the top 10% of household wealth, you'd need over $2.4 million in net worth. Ignoring taxes, the cost of living, basically if you kept that entire salary, it would take a crazy 18.5 years to save your way to that net worth figure. This gap is exactly why someone on a great salary can still be nowhere near wealthy, while a couple who bought property years ago, paid down debt, built KiwiSaver balances, and held onto assets can end up sitting much higher than they realize. This goes back to what I said before. Wealth is built off the back of assets that grow in value, independent of you having to turn up at a workplace. Then we have the global perspective, which makes the whole thing even stranger. According to UBS's 2025 Global Wealth Report, more than 80% of adults worldwide have a net worth below $100,000, and only about 1.6% have more than $1 million. So a Kiwi household with a home, some equity, and a decent KiwiSaver balance may feel painfully average compared with Remuera, Mount Maunganui, or some flash guy on LinkedIn, but globally they can still be extremely wealthy. And that, I believe, is the real reason almost nobody thinks they're rich. Because rich is not a feeling, it's a comparison. If everyone around you seems to be renovating, upgrading, traveling, investing, and somehow still ordering $8 matcha without visible regret, your own financial position starts to feel ordinary, even when the numbers say otherwise. You compare yourself to your suburb, your friends, your co-workers, your Instagram feed, and the people you notice. You are, of course, not comparing yourself to the full country, and you definitely do not compare yourself to the full planet. So the definition keeps moving. Hit the top 10%, and suddenly the top 5% becomes the benchmark. Get into the top 5%, and then the top 1% starts looking like the real finish line, which is why chasing the label rich is usually a terrible goal. It moves too much and it never feels final. There is always someone with more. Even the Mowbrays probably look at Mark Zuckerberg's wealth and aspire to do better. It's a never-ending chase, and it's one of the fastest ways to stay dissatisfied no matter how far you climb. A much better goal is to know your number. Know what kind of life you actually want and build towards that deliberately. The FIRE movement is a great example where people have saved up every penny until hitting their retirement number and they've pulled out of employment. Because being financially secure, having options, and sleeping well at night is a lot more useful than technically outranking strangers you've never met. What's your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. I've posted hundreds of valuable videos for Kiwis wanting to know where they stand. How's my income? How's my net worth? How's my KiwiSaver? How's the average Australian looking? I've covered it all. So make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll send you an alert every time I release a new video. I've also started posting over on Instagram, so if YouTube isn't enough and you want to see more of me, give me a follow over there as well. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to catching you on the next one. Cheers.